There's a coven that knows how to birth this, breed them, split them.
What percentage of the city would be involved in the satanic occult?
We're not talking just deep state. We're talking on the deepest level.
Halloween. It's a time that demons celebrate their holy day. And behind that is covens. And these covens perform satanic rituals on various living creatures like men, women, children, and even animals. But who's behind it? Why do they do it? And how are they operating in your city? That's right, in your city. Russ said there's over 10 million victims of program multiples and SRA victims in the United States. Over 10 million? Yeah, that's right. See, here's the deception. While kids and adults are taking their little babies out trick-or-treating, and church are calling it trunk-or-treat, yeah, these covens, these demonic groups are casting spells and even performing ceremonial rituals on their victims. Could be your next door neighbor they're performing it on. It could be your next door neighbor's child. It could be your next door neighbor who's performing the ritual. It's part of a coven. And this is what Russ and I talk about in this interview. Take a look. Your pulpit is actually out in the field of crimes that are heinous crimes.
Correct.
Now, tell me, what are the categories of the crimes you deal with?
Sure, they could be anywhere from. I mean, there's crimes even when it comes to rituals in animals. In certain places, you're not allowed to do this kind of stuff, but they do, and we can engage that a lot. But it comes to abuse of children, sexual ritual crimes of children.
Okay, satanic rituals.
Based on, the motivation would be whether they believe they're going to get powers or they're going to appease the demons or but in satanic ritual abuse, which is so big, becoming more and more known, you're dealing with humans, human sacrifice. And we've dealt with cases concerning that. We've dug up bones at ritual sites and brought them back. I taught in the police academy, a little bit on occult satanic crimes. So we actually go after it. It involves exposing and dealing with the perpetrators. We want them stopped because in that underworld, like in the pedophile rings, they don't stop until they're stopped, until somebody steps in.
Okay, but you're a Christian and you're a pastor, so you investigate it, but what do you do spiritually? What's the difference between you and a cop?
Right. Our thing is, one is knowing what it all means. The spiritual warfare behind it, why they do it. Even in criminalistics and forensic psychology, there's motivation to crime. Why did Jeffrey Dahmer do what he did? Why did Richard Ramirez in California, the Night Stalker, why did he do that? Okay. Well, there's a demonic, side to this. There's a reason why they do this. So we do it with massive prayer involved and major targeting of intercessory prayer, asking the Spirit of God to guide us, asking the Lord to lead us. And it takes the hand of God. We kind of model it after Ezekiel chapter 8, when God led Ezekiel to go down into the cavern, down deep inside, to find the ritual workers and what they were doing. He called it abominations, detestable things. So in dealing with victims, to go after them, to help them, and or to expose, like we're commanded in Ephesians to expose evil deeds of darkness. Well, you can't expose what you don't know. So whatever we do find, we can bring out and expose it. We can say, here's where this is going on. We can identify, like, people that show up in hospitals and psych wards that have had all this kind of abuse. We can identify what that is. We can also spiritually engage the demonic, as we've done hundreds of times, the demonic side.
When you say you identify, do you identify from a spiritual standpoint?
Sure.
Okay, sure. So you identify the demons.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting? A lot of churches, I'm sure, would shun you. What? This guy's crazy. You can. But Jesus, when he walked the face of the earth, what's the number one thing he did?
Well,
cast out demons.
Right. You look at Mark's Gospel, chapter 5. You see that guy in the tombs. He couldn't help himself.
Right.
He was completely out of control. And, once we've had police officers, psychiatrists, teachers, parents bring us people, and I make them come into the room. When they bring them to us, we say, come into the room, you watch what goes on and hear, because I don't want to explain it later.
Wow.
But we also do this on the field all over. And so, yeah, we've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of possessions and cases and demonic. And then in that whole underworld, the symbolism that they use, like a pentagram or, there's all kinds of connections, the hoods and why they do what they do and why they do a circle. And why they summon. How do they really know how to summon demons and send them? And well, that's all throughout the Old Testament when we relook at it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rituals, the satanic rituals, which is what you deal with, right? How many? Let's take the city that you live in. We don't have to identify the city, but it's a city in America. What percentage of the city would be involved in the satanic occult?
Well, in a local city, it would be a small percentage. But here's what we've been doing this 38 years on the investigative side.
Okay.
What I'm going to tell you that would happen in this city is in every single city in the United States by design. So if you find in this city a satanic ritually abused person, it means there's a coven that knows how to birth this, breed them, split them, put mind control principles in them, release demons in them, and raise them. So if we're talking a city that I'm living in, 180,000 people, there's going to be 70, 80, 90, 100 of these victims.
Wow.
And it means they've come from groups that know how to do this. They are the most secretive. This is beyond the mafia. This is beyond the drug lords. This is deeper and darker. We're not talking just deep state. We're talking on the deepest level.
Does the deep state use these people to forward their agenda?
Did you hear what Russ Dizdar said? Out of a city of 180,000 people, which is a city that he lives in, for an example, 180,000 people, there are 80 to 100 people who are victims. That's approximately 0.05%. They're victims of SRA, satanic ritual abuse. Oh, David, that's not much. Oh, really? So let's break this down. If Los Angeles, California has a population of, about 4 million people, then 0.05% of 4 million people would be about 2,000 people, 2,000 victims. And if there's covens, and these covens consist of 13 people, give or take, performing these ceremonies, it means that there are 6,000 performing witches, warlocks. There are 6,000 people performing these ceremonies, plus the victims. New York has 9 million population. So that's about 4,500 victims and 13 in each coven. That's over 13,000 people performing these ceremonies. Now, wait a minute. That's just one time. That's like each day, each week. Because remember, people come and they go. They're born and they die. And this has been going on for years, folks. These covens grow bigger and bigger and bigger. They're like cockroaches. They operate in the dark and they multiply. And I'm going to explain what I mean. Let's talk about covens for a moment. Say, what is a coven? For those of you guys that don't know, it's a gathering, it's a community of witches, of people. And they gather together to do these rituals for the purpose of satanic ritual ceremonies where they both offer their victims to Satan. Well, really, everything they do with their victim, they're offering to Satan. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't end too well for the victim. And many victims are children because they love sacrificing children. The place they generally meet is called a covenstead. Now, the number of people, like I said, that's involved in a coven is usually 13. They like that number. Satan likes the number 3. He loves 13. Sometimes it can be less. Can't be less than 3. Then these covens, what they do is when they get too big, they start breaking off. You have the priest, the high priest. They go off and they have their own coven. You see how they're like rabbits, they multiply. I said like cockroaches. You say, David, well, things aren't going too well because of COVID and, aha. Yeah, you think they shut the churches down. They didn't shut the ceremonies down. The SRA's still going, even though a lot of churches aren't. But there's online covens now, folks. That's right. Virtual online schools teaching people how to be witches. It doesn't end there. They even have an urban coven. It's a group founded on Facebook, a bunch of women, over 4,000 members, and that was 4 years ago. Who knows how many they have now? They meet in Griffith Park, thousands of women, mothers, daughters, friends, colleagues. And what do? They sit and they howl at the moon. People have gone crazy. The DVD, End Times Investigation, this thing is flying out the doors, okay? I'm telling you, I'm so happy because I want to get this out to the world. They're taking us off different platforms. They took 2 of my shows off last week. When I tell the truth, talk about things that makes people uncomfortable. So I put it in a DVD. This is some of the best interviews, 8 hours I've done with some, what I consider the top people that have devoted their life to these topics, such as one world government, new world religion, Satanism, astral projection, how the demonic movement connects with the alien disclosure. Okay, talking about end times miracles. If you're interested in this DVD, I'm not going to print a whole lot of them. It's going to be a limited run. I want you to text the word chosen to 91999. Text the word chosen to 91999. Or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order and pick that up. Also, get your Legalize Jesus t-shirt. Okay, see? So I've got one right here, Legalize Jesus. And I want you to wear it because it causes people to stop you and start asking questions. And a lot of religious people will stop and go, well, Jesus is not, he's legal. Yeah, you know what? You just try living for Jesus. I'm talking about really living for Jesus and see how fast you end up in jail. I'm talking about really in every aspect, okay? So, no. You and I, in our world, we are legalizing Jesus because Jesus is legal in our world, and that's what I'm trying to say. So it starts a lot of conversations. Please pick that up. You can text the word chosen to 91999 and get your Legalize Jesus mug right here. All right. Good coffee mug. I want you to go and sign up right now to davidheavener.tv. It's exclusive just to the members. You'll see we have 10 channels, okay? We have the Prophecy channel, Saving Baby channel, the original TV series channel, the Health and Survival channel, Bible and Prayer channel. Please go and support the ministry by signing up. You can get 2 months free if you do it now. davidheavener.tv.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844 806 0006.